You need a professional scumbag. Follow a cop until you find one. You'll have better luck if you know, look American.
Thank you, horrible man.
Simpsons time.
What's my name? Booyah!
Coming through.
Is this going to affect my insurance?
The 90s. Arguably the most influential generation for gaming. While the 80s saw developers creating new experiences of what was the tech equivalent of flit and rock at the time, the 90s saw a healthy combination of mimicry and originality, a 50-50 split, I'd say. Now, mimicry, it carries a negative connotation today. Maybe a more fitting word would be emulation, but unfortunately that word is attributed to something else entirely in the games industry.
We love free games.
So, mimicry, it'll have to be.
Move it! I'm not dead yet! Hey, you stupid tiger!
So, what does this have to do with the Simpsons hit and run? Let's get to that. In the 2000s, there was a couple of Simpsons-themed copycat games, we'll call them. And Radical, they tried their hand at a crazy taxi clone. It wasn't terrible, but not good either, just, it existed, for lack of a better term. So after fumbling the ball, which they did, they proceeded to the next logical game series to copy, Grand Theft Auto. Now, endearing caricatures of the lower middle class American spirit, that doesn't really come to mind when I see a game like this, gonna be honest. But somehow, it worked out really well. I mean, if you put this game's execution, its fundamental design on paper, it just looks awful. I mean, 3 maps in total, each are maybe 2 kilometers squared in size, out of context voice lines everywhere.
Stay on target! Stay on target! Please come back, I'm so lonely! I am evil Homer! I am evil Homer!
You're just lucky I can't remember faces.
Watch where you're going! Oh man, this sucks. Alright, that was so cool!
4 to 5 mission types maybe that are repetitive as a GMO farm, physics that just make their own rules at times, honestly, and difficulty spikes that would make Grand Theft Auto jealous.
What in the hell were you thinking, sir?
Yet regardless, we have this fantastic outcome, so I guess all the negatives cancel each other out, because this game, it is a banger. Okay, it's time to move on to the positives. This game definitely has some positives. You can kick any character you want, anyone you can think of in the Simpsons universe up until like season 11. All around Springfield, it's 2-kilometer radius depending on the map you're on. We're already starting off strong here based on that fact alone, but there's more. There are various interiors and exteriors that carry a comfortably quaint level of detail to them. One could assume that the inside of this dam would be inconsequential and therefore not needing to be explored, but they'd be wrong. Lo and behold, down there we have this whole platforming section ready to go. Quite innocuous locations such as the Quickie Mart and DMV you'll find are chock full of gags and interactive novelties. What you end up with here is a Springfield that doesn't feel like a generic town with a coat of Simpsons paint on it, but rather feels like you're in Springfield.
I see a bright light. Is that heaven?
And as I said, the missions, they are repetitive, but they at least lend to an ongoing story that keeps things from getting too boring.
I need to find my stupid brother. Have you seen him?
Yes, can't talk now. I must get the last copy of the new Itchy and Scratchy Adventures comic. It's the controversial issue in which they finally kiss.
Even if you are destroying a car for the 5th time, you'll come to appreciate moments such as Skinner being after Bart for playing hooky,
I'll get you, Bart, just like I got Charlie and Nam.
Homer misplacing Rod Flanders' inhaler,
Now where did I leave Rod's stupid inhaler? Duh, on top of the Duff truck.
Lisa freeing a restaurant supply of fish back to the ocean.
Freedom!
There's always a narrative here that has you saying, now that's Simpsons. So, final question. Would I recommend playing this game today? Well, it's certainly aged better than other Simpsons games. Simpsons Wrestling and Road Rage knocks those out of the park. The NES games don't come close. We're talking about games in general, though. We're talking like Halo, Fable, Gran Turismo, Smash Melee. Does it measure up to those classics? I'd say yes, from a Simpsons fan bias. But if you're not a fan of The Simpsons, it may just be a serviceable game at the end of the day. Not terrible, but serviceable and interesting. There's just nothing exceptional, at least, about the ground gameplay here, and the missions are repetitive. If you're versed in Simpsons humor, you'll certainly find the dialogue keeps you on your way. But if you're not, you'll just feel rather alien, I imagine. It would be fair to say it hasn't aged well, but a more appropriate moniker would be that this game is simply of its time. Every janky physics collision makes you think about how far standards have come today. Each jabbermouth that's barely syncing to the audio oozes the exaggerated, frustrated concessions of a yellow middle-aged housewife. It's hard to place a number on a vintage piece, so I'm just not going to. All I'm gonna say is that if you're a Simpsons fan, it's worth it. If not, just consider history and play your new games. But it is certainly near and dear to many of us. And for that, it gets my arbitrary rating of this is one of the better Simpsons games out of Grand Theft Auto Vice City was the one they're going for the time, I guess, yeah.